We've been to space? No, you haven't, brother. You heard a guy on TV tell you that they've been to space. You don't know anyone that's been to space. I don't know anyone that's been to space. I haven't been to space.
That was Raynad, Chief Executive Officer and founder of Tempo Storm, and the creator of the Bazaar. The game is an auto battler where you draft items, improvise a board, and then send it off to fight against other boards. There was a crowdfunding campaign in 2018, then it was stuck in development hell up until 2024, and then had the most embarrassing, humiliating launch imaginable. After bleeding millions of dollars every year, they decided to cut their staff into the bare minimum required for new content. Spoiler, it's not working. Currently, the design team is made up of two guys. Guy number one makes board games and also in the past a puzzler mobile game. And guy number two was the lead designer of an obscure live service digital collectible card game. One person makes new content and the other tweaks numbers for live balance. Can you guess who designs the new stuff for the Bazaar, a live service game? That's right, the guy who makes board games. Before I get into the development circus at Tempo, I have to prove that they don't understand what people like about their game. In any given run of the Bazaar, there is no guarantee you can find a certain item, so part of the appeal is improvising. And in that process, you may find new or rare synergies between items that aren't normally seen together. And of course, after all this, you want to see your board in action. There has to be some kind of payoff. Okay, let's go through these, starting from the last one. Are you acquainted with the feeling of getting stunned out of a game? Raynad made his name during the early days of Hearthstone, and he was playing while Freeze Mage was in the game. Back then, everyone found out the hard way that it's not fun. Hearthstone has been around for 12 years, and it has made that exact mistake 2 times, arguably 3. And the Bazaar has only been out for 2 years? Each time it pops up, it gets nerfed in a subsequent patch. How do you keep making the same design mistake over and over? That was just one example, but it happens all the time. Like, it happened while I was editing this video. Okay, but disruption is healthy. What if you disrupted one random thing instead of the whole board? And when I say disrupted, I mean effectively deleted.
Bro, what is that? Even froze my camera, which nuke it's triggered. Bro, what? 60 crit, 3 consecutive crits? Literally the 2 perfect freezes. Let me explain.
By the way, everything in the game is random. Hey, Raynad, didn't you film a rant on good RNG versus bad RNG in Hearthstone? Didn't you say you hated Knife Juggler? Why is the game secretly 3 Knife Jugglers in a trench coat?
Oh my god, if he didn't freeze Lion's King, it killed him if he froze anything else. 75% of the time I win that fight. Disgusting. Lost the juggle indeed. The usual. That was a cool blowgun build. Also forgot that.
Well, if we're not doing disruption, then how do we win? The hero Vanessa answers that question with her core identity of going fast. And I mean, they don't get to play kinda fast. Valid design space, sure. The problem is, it kind of feels bad when you just die, so they slow down the game. They increase the cooldown of everything by a second. Twice. They did this twice. And guess what new item they gave to Vanessa? This piece of shit they call Bernacuda. It's a bunch of keywords slapped on a low cooldown. It goes off first and it activates the rest of your build. This thing goes off faster than 99% of every other item in the game, and it synergizes with everything. The game advertises itself as having infinitely unique runs, but you would just grab this every time you see it. Here are some snippets of Steam reviews. 800 hours played. Top 100 every season. I wanted this game to succeed, but I can't recommend it anymore. This is easily the worst state I've seen the game in. Vanessa is currently breaking the game with a 50% pick rate across 7 classes. And the studio head insults the community by calling frustrated players losers who stay losing. Reynad threw a fit over people taking his words out of context, but no, this rant is exactly what it sounds like. I'll talk more about this hard-stuck 2016 salty streamer later. I actually don't blame the live balance guy. Their playtest team is just a bunch of random Discord users, and he alone has to know 7 heroes inside and out. Maybe Raynad only pays him to work like 5 minutes a week. That would explain a lot. Hey, pop quiz. Let's say you're balancing a hero. Her items are generally garbage, but she has 2 good ones. Let's say you obliterate one of them because people were unhappy losing to it. What do you think the players will do now? If your answer was, they will try to force the one remaining good item, then congratulations, you have more foresight than guy number 2. It was so bad that the top ranked player of season 14 made an hour-long video of pure despair about how his favorite hero was Abysmal Dog. He's a streamer, so he cares about view counts, but when he picks her, everyone just leaves. She had a pick rate of less than 2%. How do you let your game get to this point? Tempo makes money from selling heroes. It's like the meat on the bone, the actual content. How it works is that normally when you pick a hero, you only have access to their items for that run. But the game will offer you opportunities to get stuff from other heroes. And so the appeal would be that sometimes you find a super rare interaction and crazy stuff happens. So it makes complete sense why the devs would design Stel, a hero based around a parasitic mechanic that no one else can really use. Wait, what? Listen, I need to show you an example, okay? Here are 3 items. When this activates, make an adjacent item fly. When this activates, burn your opponent for a very small amount, but each time this item starts flying, that number goes up. When this activates, an item stops flying. On her release, the other heroes didn't do anything with flying, so when they got a Stell item, it was completely useless. And even after the devs gave flying stuff to everyone else, you still didn't want a Stell item because she was a combo hero. I'm sure you've noticed this by now, but these 3 items don't do anything individually. It's as if I randomly gave you Exodia's hairy red left leg. What are you even gonna do with that? They saw that Stell was the least popular hero by far, and they went, I'm gonna do it again, but better. Jules comes out and she has her own parasitic mechanic called heaters and coolers, but she was not combo oriented. Basically, spots on her board light up red or blue, and some items gain special effects when placed on them. But whoever designed Jules knows better, because only a quarter of her item pool has anything to do with it. The rest of her items? They tend to only work with food, and she has like 99% of all the food in the game. Okay, they got 4 right and 2 wrong. Third time's the charm, right? Sir, a third parasitic mechanic has hit the roster. I'm not gonna waste your time explaining him. Just imagine the same stuff, but his items are like keyword soup. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Well, what if they just don't want that in the game anymore? Well, the devs are constantly adding new ways of getting items from other heroes, so I think they recognize that people enjoy it, but they don't know how to actually make it happen. The reality is that neither Reynad nor the 2 dudes remaining on design know enough to work on a game like this, but the original team who made the base game did. The gameplay, having complex decision making combined with a high knowledge requirement, will naturally court a hardcore audience. A live service game wants people to come back over and over, to be obsessed with it, and to know it inside and out. People who sink in 4-digit hours and treat that as a badge of honor. People who buy new content without even looking. Those people are the ones who are sick of it. Tempo doesn't even know how to monetize their game. They messed up so bad that the opening launch could only be remembered by how embarrassing it was. Reynad also just can't take any kind of criticism. His first instinct is that he's always right, and if you disagree, you're probably a brain-dead, mouth-breathing ape. He just can't help it. Are you the CEO of a company, or are you some dude who gets into petty arguments in someone else's Twitch stream? It's not 2016 anymore, you're not making a living from being upset over Hearthstone. The sad part about all this is that if you bought the game right now and played it, you will have a lot of fun. It's great because you're in the dumpster ranks and you can do whatever you want and explore, but matchmaking is a one-way street. You can go up but not down, which means you will face people with hundreds of hours over you, and they will impart onto you a lesson they have long since learned. Losing kinda sucks, but losing 5 times in a row and then dying out, that's just miserable. People keep asking, why is the game getting harder and harder? Maybe it has to do with the fact that there's no middle ground between sweatiest gamer alive and a guy who plays 1 game a month. When they release a new hero, it feels like they're jingling keys in front of you because they think their players only care about new content. Those keys are real jingly, but it doesn't work forever. Each time they nerf an oppressive meta, a new one pops up. There are so many design mistakes layered on top of each other, it looks like a geological cross-section. You know what, I genuinely hope that everything I said before becomes irrelevant. I hope the game becomes a big hit, that Tempo gets to cultivate a player base that enjoys being in an abusive relationship. I hope that the next time Reynad streams, he finds a more interesting crackpot theory than the moon landing was fake. How about a Gartha, huh? Now that's some fantasy world building. It's a TikTok meme now? What?
Oh my god, it's John Bazaar!